water. It's a team from Toronto, Canada. We, the North, are now we, the champions.
What is going on, Raptors Nation? It is Luca here back with the Raptors Nation podcast. Hope you're all doing well. The Raptors season, it is right around the corner. Preseason starts up very, very soon. Then we're going to have the regular season as the Raptors will embark on their 30th anniversary season. A lot of cool stuff certainly in store. In today's pod, however, we got a lot of interesting talking points to get to. First, going to talk about the latest regarding Masai Ujiri's future. There was some big news that happened yesterday that could potentially affect the long-term outcome of the Masai Ujiri era in Toronto. Then I'm going to be taking a look at Christian Koloko. He's found a new home, which is great. Not so great if you're the Raptors, however. And then finally, I'm going to talk about Darko Rajakovic, as there was a CBS Sports article that was put out looking at his coaching ranking going into the season. Before we dive right into it, do me a solid, everybody. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more podcasts just like this. Keep it locked and loaded on the Raptors Nation YouTube channel for all things Raptors. You can check out the website, raptorsnation.com. Took a break from this channel, back in full swing for this season, so expect a lot of content. It takes 2 seconds. Drop a like, helps it immensely. Subscribe and get the word out. All my Raptors content will be on this channel. Still going to be uploading on my main channel, of course, Luca Rosano with some Raptors bits, but this is going to be the day-to-day Raptor stuff, so you definitely don't want to miss any of that. All right, guys, so let's dive right into it. And Masai Ujiri's future with the Raptors could indeed be in jeopardy. So the big news, if you haven't heard already, Rogers purchased Bell's 37.5% ownership stake in MLSE for $4.7 billion on Wednesday. That's a whole lot of change, giving Rogers 75% ownership in the company and its subsidiaries, including the Raptors. The remaining 25% is owned by Larry Tannenbaum, who is expected to sell his remaining share by 2026. Now, Ujiri, make no mistake about it, he's never hinted that he's going to leave. But what's significant about this is that Rogers Communications, their decision to take control of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment could complicate things down the line for Ujiri. Because you look at the relationship here, it's not a good one. Rogers and Ujiri have had a shaky relationship, to say the least, as the Toronto Star reported a couple years ago that it was Edward Rogers who fought against re-signing Ujiri back in 2021 when the Raptors were, of course, looking to lock up Ujiri, and he was forced to let up his pushback after it was Tannenbaum and leadership at Bell that sided with Ujiri. So with Bell no longer involved in MLSE and Tannenbaum's expected exit in the next couple of years, Rogers is going to have total control over this thing. And with that, it could spell the end of Masai Ujiri's time in Toronto just because of that shaky relationship. So there's already been a lot of speculation, fans looking at this as the beginning of the end of the Masai Ujiri tenure in Toronto. Now, Masai Ujiri, he is under contract. It's set to expire in 2026 for Sportsnet, so he's going to be here for the next 2 seasons. But beyond that, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if MLSE will, have to renegotiate another deal with Masai if he plans on staying, and if they want him to stay, there's going to be there could be a lot of friction, right? Everything can work out for the best. Not trying to sound doom and gloom here, but going based on the past, going based on this very choppy relationship, things are going to get interesting. And Masai Ujiri's future could indeed be in jeopardy with this Toronto Raptors team. And it's crazy to think about the Raptors without Masai, because you look at Masai, for as much flack as he's gotten over the years, you got to look at all the good stuff he's done. I mean, he put this team on the map, consistent winner, had that decade of success, obviously resulting in the championship, made the gutsy trade that not too many would have made, DeRozan for Kawhi. It worked out brilliantly. So for as much as the questionable decisions seem to come up a ton when looking at the recent history of Masai Ujiri with this team, you got to look at it from a big picture standpoint. And Masai has done a great job with this organization. And he's preached to many, many times that, he loves the city. He loves being here. He wants to bring a championship back to Toronto. Masai, he's a winner. However, with Rodgers now having this new controlling stake in MLSE, it could change a whole ton. There's some uncertainty now with the recent news of this massive deal that took place on Wednesday. And you look at Ujiri, guys, he has been an executive for the Raptors since 2013. And that actually makes him the fourth longest tenured executive in the NBA. So he's been around a while. It would definitely be a big change for the Raptors. Only Greg Popovich, Pat Riley, and Sam Presti have been around longer with their respective franchises. So Ujiri, he's been around. He's seen this franchise go from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs to now where they are now. First time he's embarking on a rebuild. He seems motivated to make this thing work. But we'll see if he's indeed going to be here for the long haul to see if this rebuild does develop how he intends it to develop over the next couple of years. So very, very interesting that this news has transpired. Rodgers making the big deal. It is going to change a lot of things, and this could be one of it. And this could be one of those things. So definitely a story to monitor. But Masai Ujiri, we'll see. If the relationship could be mended, if things could be patched up, if he's going to be around. But back at that time, when there was, Masai and the Raptors had to resign him, making him one of the top tier executives in the NBA, there was some pushback from Rodgers. So we'll see if next time around it's going to be the same sentiment or there's going to be a different tone. Guys, let me know your thoughts to the big deal that happened, Masai Ujiri's future. Do you think this spells the end of Masai Ujiri with the Raptors? Let me know your thoughts down below, and we'll see how this thing shakes up a couple more years before we're going to find out our definitive answer on Masai Ujiri's long-term status with the Raptors organization. All right, next, let's talk Christian Koloko. Christian Koloko, guys, it appears he's back and he's ready to make an on-court return, which is great news. Christian Koloko, his playing days were all numbered. His career was in big-time jeopardy after he had the blood clot issue that sidelined him indefinitely for the Toronto Raptors. But it looks like Christian Koloko has made significant progress, and he could participate in basketball activities, full basketball activities with the Los Angeles Lakers, as the Lakers officially signed Christian Koloko to a two-way contract on Monday, giving the Lakers some much-needed front court depth. They're going to have a nice developmental player in Koloko, 24 years old, 7'1", and of course, many Raptors fans a little upset over the news. They wanted Koloko back. I was one of those people. Koloko, had that really nice rookie season, and obviously, due to unforeseen circumstances, was taken away from the game of basketball as the Raptors, they selected Koloko with the number 33rd overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft, but missed all of last season with a blood clot issue. And he still needs to be cleared by the league's fitness to play panel. But it does look good for Koloko that he will be able to contribute with the Lakers this season. So there were some finalists in this when it was announced by or reported by Shams last week. The Raptors were one of the front runners along with the Lakers. And then it was announced that the Lakers were the team that was going to be signing Koloko. As look, this is a great opportunity for Koloko. I'm truly, truly happy for Christian Koloko because we all know what happened, right? Blood clot issue. Can't mess around with it. You're not talking about career threatening. You're talking about life threatening. Very, very scary stuff. And you look at the Raptors situation at that time. They had made the trade, sending Pascal Siakam to the Indiana Pacers. And then in a move after that, they had to unfortunately waive Koloko. He wasn't playable. We didn't know at that point if Koloko was ever going to return to the game of basketball. And it did look unlikely, just given the recent news about him facing this blood clot issue. Obviously, things progressed. Luckily for Koloko, he's now able to get back to the game he loves. But you look at it from the Raptors standpoint, looking at it now, yeah, it definitely goes down as a very, very big blunder because essentially the Raptors, they waived Koloko for spare parts in this Siakam deal. And you look at those spare parts, Kira Lewis, he's not here. Jordan Mora, he's not here. So it's like you essentially waived them to bring those kind of pieces in. And now you lose Koloko. Just like that, he's gone. And you just look at it, he's exactly what this Raptors team needed. Now, I know people are going up and beyond, and I know Koloko still has to prove it. And, he's got such a short span in the NBA. But look, he's what the Raptors needed. Let's not make a mistake about it. The Raptors need a developmental big. Christian Koloko showed a lot of good signs. 7'1", 24 years old. This is what the Raptors needed. I know you looked at Ulrich Chomchi, but he's 18 years old. Still going to be a couple seasons before we really can see if Ulrich Chomchi is going to develop into that big that we all hope he's going to be. But Koloko, you look at him right now, this is what the Raptors needed from a developmental big standpoint. Koloko, obviously it's going to take time for him to get back to game speed. I'm rooting for him personally, even though he's going to be playing with the Lakers. I want to see him succeed most definitely. But it would have been really, really nice to see Koloko come back to the Toronto Raptors. And it is a shame that it went like this. And you look back at the decision, it's very, very tough. It really is. At the end of the day, the Raptors, they did fumble Koloko. But at that time, the reports that were coming out, the unlikeliness it was of Koloko coming back to the NBA, Masai was put in a tough position. He really had to look this thing big picture, and they went with the decision, like, I don't know if Koloko's close to coming back. I don't know if he's ever going to come back. And fortunately, he is back. But unfortunately for the Raptors, they had to cut him and unable to get him back as there was interest. I remember, there was a report, I believe it was Koloko's trainer saying that there was mutual interest there. And Koloko, when he was gearing up, getting ready to get back to the court, the Raptors were definitely going to be a strong candidate for Koloko's return. But the way things go, Lakers getting in on it, Koloko going with them, it's just how it played out. And the Raptors, they do end up missing out on Koloko completely, and they do lose him for nothing. But I think in this situation is beyond the X's and O's. And me personally, it would have been great to see Koloko back with the Raptors. But at the end of the day, the human element comes into all this. And I really am happy that Koloko's back. I really am. You're talking about a kid that facing a life-threatening issue, his career taken away from him, and now he has an up back. Like, it's a great basketball story, and I really do wish him all the best, and I really hope he does ace it with the Lakers. He's going to be in a great position, backing up Anthony Davis. That's going to be the hopeful goal that the Lakers see Koloko in, playing alongside a LeBron. Like, I think this is a really good situation for Koloko to get back into things, to bounce back and really have an impact as he makes his return to the NBA. All right, guys, we are going to finish things up by talking about Darko Rajakovic. I thought this was a really cool article put out by Sam Quinn of CBS Sports. He ranked every single NBA coach for the 2024-2025 season, and he put him in 9 different tiers. So, Darko, which tier did he rank in? Well, unfortunately for Darko, he was in tier number 9, labeled as we don't know enough. And Rajakovic, he was ranked 26th overall, ahead of Jordi Fernandez of the Brooklyn Nets, Charles Lee of the Charlotte Hornets, Brian Keefe of the Washington Wizards, and JJ Redick of the Lakers, who got the dubious honor of being ranked dead last on this list. So when ranking Rajakovic 26th, Quinn did say, and I quote, Rajakovic has one tanking season on the job. Check back with me in a year, and I'll have something to say. I think this is a pretty fair assessment. I wasn't shocked in any way. I think this is beyond fair for Rajakovic. I mean, you look at the situation, the season he just endured. I mean, the Raptors, yeah, they tanked half of that season. They were not winning a lot of games. They had many of their key pieces out. They went through a very transformative period where they traded OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam. So that's tough for any coach to endure, let alone a rookie coach entering his first season. You got to cut Rajakovic a bit of slack there. this is still going to be a big season for Rajakovic, I think, because you would think the pieces, are here, at least the long-term pieces. Can he get the most out of this young trio, this young core? Can he get the most out of these younger players like Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter, the rookies that the Raptors drafted? I think it is going to be a situation where you got to wait a year to check back on this and do a re-ranking of Darko and really give him a fair ranking. There were so many circumstances that popped up last season, but this season should be, for the most part, pretty linear. Like, I don't expect a huge blockbuster deal, as the Raptors made 2 of them last season. So this is going to be the team. This is going to be the players that Darko spending all of his time in training camp, in the preseason for the season. So we can kind of measure the development and the progress that Darko has with this team. Is the offense going to look better? Is the defense going to look better? That's obviously an area of concern for most fans when looking at this Raptors defense that did not look like the typical Raptors defense we're accustomed to seeing. So is Darko going to be able to get the most out of the young players? And are young players going to show signs of development and taking their game to the next level under a player development coach in Darko Rajakovic? These are all going to be very, very important questions that are going to be answered this season. So yeah, I am very much good with this ranking. I think it's beyond fair. Check back in a year and we'll see where Rajakovic ranks. If, he ranks worse than this in a year from now or better than this. I would hope that it's better than this, but again, Rajakovic, it is year 1 of the rebuild, which he called it in his own words, but he still does have a lot to prove. I know there's going to be a lot of leash because the Raptors aren't expected to be an A-plus team, a playoff team, but there is still going to be a lot of pressure because you still want to see the room of improvement. You still want to see the progress start to go a little bit up and not just remain flatline or even worse than it is now in terms of a player development standpoint. So this is going to be a very, very interesting season for Darko. Just a fun little add-on here. Quinn, he did put former Raptors head coach Nick Nurse in tier 2, labeled as the elite, and he does have Nurse ranked as the second best coach in the NBA, behind Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat, who's in his own tier, number 1, labeled the undisputed king. I think that's fair. I would say right now, Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA, and Nick Nurse is the second best coach in the NBA. Argue with a wall if you don't think. Nick Nurse, he is a great coach, and we know his situation here with the Raptors ran its course, and a guy like Nick Nurse is a coach that is going to be better suited on a championship contending team, and we'll see what Nurse can do with obviously the big acquisition of Paul George. But you look at Quinn, he did praise Nurse, saying that Nurse at his core is a problem solver. Whenever you show him on the court, he's going to have some idea about how to stop it. And the results thus far have spoken for themselves. Quinn also applauded Nurse for losing Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green and still having the Raptors maintain the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference that year. So Quinn very high on Nurse. And I think, the 1-2 best coaches in the NBA right now, Spoelstra 1, Nurse 2. So I can't disagree with that. And then joining Nurse in tier 2 is Rick Carlisle of the Indiana Pacers, ranked number 3. Steve Kerr of the Golden State Warriors, ranked number 4. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And Ty Lue of the Los Angeles Clippers, ranked number 5. Also don't know how I feel about that. But I think the first 2 he got to bang on. And then, like I said, I agree with the Darko Rajakovic ranking of 26th overall when looking at all 30 NBA head coaches. And by the way, the coaches were ranked by track record, performance against expectations, points of emphasis, creativity, player development, rotation management, and people management. That is going to conclude today's show, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. The NBA preseason is fast approaching. We first got to get through Media Day, which is going to be coming up very, very soon. So be on the lookout for a video discussing what happened there. And then we're going to get into the preseason, and then it's regular season time. Yes, just like that in a blink, Raptors basketball will be back for better or for worse. Are you looking forward to the Raptors' 30th anniversary season? And we will see how the Raptors look, obviously, in preseason. This is going to be a very, very interesting season from, looking at individual players getting better and seeing how this team progresses. I have this Raptors team as the 10th seed in the East. I took a look at where I have the Raptors ranked in my last video, so go check that out if you haven't already. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your favorite podcast, Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. And that is it for me. This is Lucas signing off. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you all again in the next one.